Let's talk about the Frankfurt Book Fair. I have seen posts and comments from people I deeply respect calling for the boycott of the event because the organizers show Zionist leanings. I get it. A collective withdrawal of money, attention, or participation to pressure institutions into addressing public demands against injustices can be effective. Allow me to give you some background on the event and share what I have seen firsthand. Frankfurt has been the hub of printers, publishers, booksellers, and free thinkers since the 1400s, since Gutenberg designed and built the first known mechanized printing press in Europe. The Frankfurt Book Fair has a 500-year history. The modern Frankfurt Book Fair started in 1949 after World War II, so it's been 77 years. Participating in the book fair means access to global authors, translators, publishers, retailers, everyone who keeps the publishing industry alive. The Philippines was the guest of honor country. And to do that, para tayong nagbid sa Olympics. We applied for it and we competed with other countries. Senator Loren Legarda, who heads the Senate Committee for Culture and Arts, worked on this vision for more than 10 years. Ganun katagal. Government agencies like the National Book Development Board, the National Commission for Culture and Arts, the National Historical Commission, and others, and culture bearers, authors, academics, researchers, creatives, performers, filmmakers, and journalists all came out to represent our culture at that global arena. It is not likely that that will happen again in my lifetime. Immersed in this event, I feel a deep pride in being Filipino kahit maraming intriga. Let me explain. Jose Rizal, who was celebrated at the book fair, wrote about injustice, persecution, and oppression. Imposible naman na hindi ma-feel yung relevance no ng mga Pilipino. So what the Philippines did was to share the global stage with those whose voices were being silenced. There were many events, but here are 3 that made the most impact on me. In Lament of the Most Wretched Woman, Camille Abaya gave an emotional performance as Sisa, mad with grief from the loss of Crispin and Basilio. In the middle of the play, she began saying other names. Lists were then handed out to the audience. It contained the names and ages of children lost to extrajudicial killings in the Philippines and the young lives erased in Gaza. In Philippine Media Struggles for Freedom, Filipino journalists Howie Severino, Robbie Alampay, and Patricia Evangelista spoke of their personal battles to bring news to light. They talked about stats and stories of journalists in Gaza, a touching show of solidarity with fellow news correspondents risking their lives in another part of the world. In Writing Through the Wounds, Filipino and Palestinian Literature in Relational Solidarity, Filipino and Palestinian writers discussed the impact of occupation, erasure, and resistance. One of the panelists, the Palestinian activist and author Tariq Hamdan, summed up the week in his Facebook post eloquently. He said, I leave the Frankfurt Book Fair with a deep sense of gratitude to the Philippines, guest of honor at this year's fair, and to its writers and publishers who refused to silence the Palestinian voice and insisted on its presence at one of the world's most important cultural forums and in one of the countries most intent on silencing that voice. This was not a cultural courtesy but a courageous act in the face of attempts at erasure. It was an act of resistance in every sense of the word. Seeing all this happening made me proud to be Filipino because we have always had the most creative way of expressing dissent. Rizal was executed for writing a novel in 1896. We faced tanks with rosaries and flowers in 1986. In a world filled with chaos, the Filipino continues to make our mark in the global story by being there, listening, watching, thinking, writing, speaking, and keeping the dialogue alive. I am sharing some links below in case you want to help the people of Gaza from wherever you are in the Philippines. Share more in the comment section kung may alam pa kayo. So yes, let's stay critical, let's stay aware, let's also show up. O diba?
Meow meow.